What if everything you've been taught about money is incomplete? What if working harder, earning a higher salary, and saving more aren't enough to achieve financial freedom? Why do some people spend their entire lives working for money while others make money work for them? In this complete summary of Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, you'll discover the powerful mindset differences that separate financially successful people from everyone else. You'll learn why financial education matters more than income, why understanding assets and liabilities can change your future, and why true wealth is built through knowledge, discipline, and long-term thinking, not just a bigger paycheck. This isn't simply a book about becoming rich. It's about changing the way you think about money, opportunities, and financial independence. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or looking to improve your future, these timeless lessons can help you build a stronger foundation. Let's begin by exploring the first lesson that has transformed the way millions of people think about money. In the introduction, we explored the idea that financial freedom begins with changing the way you think about money. Robert Kiyosaki believes that the biggest difference between financially successful people and everyone else isn't how much they earn, it's how they think. This lesson begins with the two people who shaped his life, his highly educated poor dad and his financially intelligent rich dad. His poor dad believed that the path to success was simple: study hard, earn good grades, get a secure job, work diligently, save money, and hope for a comfortable retirement. It was the advice millions of people receive while growing up, and although it can provide stability, Robert argues that it often keeps people trapped in a cycle of working for money instead of building lasting wealth. Rich Dad saw the world differently. He believed that schools teach people how to become employees, but rarely teach them how money actually works. Financial education, he explained, is just as important as academic education. Understanding cash flow, assets, expenses, and long-term investing allows people to make better financial decisions throughout their lives. One of the most famous lessons in the book is this: the rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. Most people exchange time for income. They work more hours to earn more money. While earning a good income is valuable, Robert explains that income alone doesn't create wealth. If every dollar earned is immediately spent on bigger houses, newer cars, expensive lifestyles, or unnecessary purchases, financial pressure continues to grow no matter how much income increases. This leads to another life-changing concept: the difference between assets and liabilities. According to Robert Kiyosaki, an asset is something that puts money into your pocket over time. A liability is something that regularly takes money out of your pocket. Financially successful people focus on gradually acquiring income-producing assets while keeping unnecessary liabilities under control. The exact type of asset may vary from person to person, but the underlying principle remains the same. Build things that create long-term value instead of constantly increasing expenses. Before making major financial decisions, ask yourself one simple question: will this help strengthen my financial future, or will it simply increase my monthly obligations? Another powerful lesson is understanding the difference between being busy and becoming financially free. Many people spend decades working harder every year without asking whether their daily efforts are moving them closer to financial independence. Hard work is important, but without financial knowledge, it may only increase income without increasing wealth. Robert also explains that fear and greed quietly influence financial decisions. Fear causes people to avoid learning about money because they're afraid of making mistakes. Greed encourages people to chase quick profits without understanding the risks involved. Emotional decisions often create financial problems, while thoughtful decisions built on knowledge produce more sustainable results. The book encourages readers to become lifelong learners. Read books, improve your financial knowledge, develop valuable skills, and continue learning how money works. Financial education isn't something you complete once. It's a continuous process that improves the quality of every financial decision you make. Perhaps the most important lesson in this section is that changing your financial future begins by changing your mindset. Before your income changes, your thinking must change. Before your investments improve, your understanding must improve. Wealth is usually built from better decisions repeated consistently over many years rather than from one lucky opportunity. As these ideas begin to connect, one truth becomes clear: lasting financial success starts with education, disciplined thinking, and wise decision-making, not simply with earning a larger paycheck. In the next part, we'll explore why financial intelligence is more valuable than income alone, how cash flow influences your future, and why developing the right habits can gradually lead to greater financial freedom. In the previous part, we learned that financial freedom begins with changing the way we think about money. But Robert Kiyosaki explains that a new mindset alone isn't enough. To build lasting wealth, you must also develop financial intelligence, the ability to understand how money works and make informed decisions instead of emotional ones. Many people believe that earning a high salary automatically leads to wealth. However, history has shown that countless people with impressive incomes still struggle financially because their spending increases as quickly as their earnings. This pattern is known as lifestyle inflation. Every raise brings a bigger house, a newer car, more expensive vacations, and higher monthly expenses. As a result, they earn more, but never truly become financially free. Robert argues that the key isn't simply increasing your income, it's improving your cash flow. Cash flow is the movement of money coming in and going out. Financially successful people pay close attention to where every dollar goes. Instead of allowing income to disappear through unnecessary spending, they make deliberate choices that strengthen their long-term financial position. Another important lesson is the difference between consumption and investment. Many purchases provide temporary satisfaction but lose value over time. While enjoying life is important, constantly spending on things that don't create long-term value can delay financial independence. On the other hand, investing in knowledge, valuable skills, productive businesses, or income-generating opportunities can continue providing benefits for years. The book also emphasizes the importance of learning instead of fearing mistakes. One reason many people never improve financially is because they're afraid of making the wrong decision. Fear often keeps people from learning new skills, exploring opportunities, or asking important questions. Robert reminds us that mistakes, when approached wisely, become powerful teachers. Every lesson learned today can help prevent much larger mistakes tomorrow. Another powerful idea is that successful people never stop improving their abilities. Financial intelligence isn't limited to understanding money alone. Communication, leadership, problem-solving, negotiation, and continuous learning all increase your value. The more useful your skills become, the more opportunities naturally appear throughout your career and business life. Robert also encourages readers to become active learners rather than passive consumers of information. Reading books, studying successful people, understanding markets, and improving financial literacy gradually change the way you see opportunities. Two people may face the same situation, yet one sees a problem while the other recognizes a possibility. Often, the difference is knowledge. The book further explains that opportunities usually appear to those who prepare for them. Waiting for the perfect moment rarely leads to progress. Instead, consistent learning, careful planning, and disciplined action create the ability to recognize opportunities when they arrive. Preparation allows confidence to replace uncertainty. Another lesson worth remembering is that patience is one of the greatest financial advantages. Lasting wealth is rarely created overnight. Most meaningful financial progress comes from consistent decisions made over many years. Trying to become wealthy quickly often leads people toward unnecessary risks, while steady and informed decisions create stronger foundations. Perhaps the most valuable message in this section is that money is a tool, not the final goal. The real objective is freedom. The freedom to make thoughtful choices, support your family, continue learning, and build a life guided by purpose instead of constant financial pressure. When money serves your values instead of controlling your decisions, it becomes a powerful resource rather than a source of stress. As these lessons come together, one principle becomes increasingly clear. Financial success depends less on how much you earn and more on how wisely you think, learn, and manage your resources. Knowledge, patience, and discipline gradually create opportunities that income alone cannot provide. In the next part, we'll explore why courage, continuous learning, and overcoming fear are essential for long-term financial growth, and how developing the right habits can help you move closer to genuine financial independence. So far, we've explored the importance of financial education, cash flow, and developing the right mindset. But Robert Kiyosaki argues that knowledge alone isn't enough. Many people understand what they should do, yet they never take action. Why? Because fear, self-doubt, and the desire for comfort often become greater obstacles than a lack of opportunity. One of the biggest fears people face is the fear of losing money. This fear is completely natural. Nobody enjoys making mistakes or facing financial setbacks. However, Robert explains that allowing fear to control every decision can prevent growth altogether. The goal isn't to ignore risk. It's to reduce unnecessary risk through education, careful planning, and continuous learning. Another common obstacle is the fear of failure. Many people postpone learning new skills, starting a business, or exploring new opportunities because they worry about making mistakes. Yet every successful entrepreneur, investor, or professional has experienced failure at some point. The difference is that successful people treat mistakes as lessons rather than permanent defeats. The book encourages readers to take responsibility for their financial future instead of blaming the economy, their job, or their circumstances. While external challenges certainly exist, focusing only on what you cannot control often leads to frustration. Financial progress begins by improving the decisions that are within your control, developing new skills, managing expenses wisely, increasing knowledge, and making thoughtful long-term plans. Robert also explains that one of the most valuable investments you can make is in yourself. Learning communication, leadership, negotiation, sales, problem-solving, and decision-making increases your ability to create opportunities throughout your life. These skills remain valuable regardless of changes in the economy or job market because they improve your ability to adapt. Another powerful lesson is the importance of lifelong learning. Financially successful people rarely assume they know everything. They continue reading, asking questions, seeking advice, and improving their understanding. Curiosity becomes one of their greatest strengths. The more they learn, the more confidently they can evaluate opportunities and avoid unnecessary mistakes. The book also reminds us to avoid making emotional financial decisions. Excitement can lead people to chase unrealistic promises, while fear can cause them to ignore genuine opportunities. Wise decision-making requires patience, research, and careful thinking. Instead of reacting quickly, take time to understand the situation before making important financial choices. Discipline is another recurring theme. Building a stronger financial future doesn't usually require dramatic changes overnight. It requires small, consistent habits practiced over many years. Spending wisely, saving regularly, continuing to learn, and making thoughtful decisions may seem ordinary, but together these habits create extraordinary results over time. Perhaps the most encouraging lesson in this section is that financial freedom isn't reserved for a special group of people. It begins with ordinary individuals who choose to improve their knowledge, strengthen their character, and make better decisions day after day. Wealth is rarely built through luck alone. More often, it's built through preparation, patience, and disciplined action. As these lessons come together, one message becomes clear. Your greatest financial asset isn't money. It's your ability to learn, adapt, and continue improving. The stronger your knowledge and habits become, the stronger your financial foundation becomes as well. In the next part, we'll explore the habits and mindset that help people build long-term wealth, the importance of discipline and patience, and why true financial independence is created through consistent decisions rather than quick results. By now, we've learned that financial freedom begins with changing the way we think, improving our financial education, and developing the courage to take responsibility for our future. But Robert Kiyosaki explains that knowledge alone doesn't create wealth. The real difference is found in the habits people practice consistently over time. One of the most important habits is learning to think like an owner instead of only thinking like an employee. Employees usually focus on earning the next paycheck. Owners focus on creating long-term value. They ask different questions. Instead of asking, "How much can I earn this month?" they ask, "How can I build something that continues creating value in the future?" This shift in thinking changes the way people make financial decisions. Another powerful lesson is understanding the difference between active income and income generated by productive assets or businesses. Robert explains that depending on only one source of income can leave people financially vulnerable. While everyone's situation is different, developing valuable skills, creating useful products or services, or building legitimate long-term sources of income can increase financial stability over time. The book also emphasizes the importance of delayed gratification. Modern society encourages people to spend first, and think later. Advertisements constantly suggest buying things we may not truly need. Robert encourages readers to develop self-discipline before making major purchases. Financially successful people often delay short-term pleasure so they can build greater opportunities for the future. Another lesson is that opportunities rarely arrive fully prepared. They often appear as problems waiting to be solved. While many people focus on obstacles, financially intelligent individuals look for practical solutions. They ask, what can I learn from this situation? Instead of immediately deciding that something is impossible. This mindset encourages creativity, resilience, and continuous improvement. Robert also explains that building wealth requires patience. Many people search for shortcuts because they want immediate results. However, lasting financial success is usually the result of hundreds of wise decisions made consistently over many years. Trying to become wealthy overnight often leads to unnecessary risk, while steady progress creates a stronger and more sustainable foundation. The book reminds us that financial education should continue throughout life. Markets change, technology evolves, and new opportunities appear every year. People who continue learning remain better prepared to adapt. Reading books, improving professional skills, understanding personal finance, and staying informed gradually strengthen your ability to make wiser decisions. Another valuable principle is surrounding yourself with people who encourage growth. The people you spend time with influence your thinking, your habits, and your expectations. When you're surrounded by individuals who value learning, responsibility, honesty, and continuous improvement, those qualities naturally become part of your own life. Positive environments often produce positive results. Robert also encourages readers to remain humble. Success should never create overconfidence. Every financial decision deserves careful thought, regardless of past achievements. People who believe they have nothing left to learn often stop growing, while those who remain curious continue discovering new opportunities throughout their lives. Perhaps the most important message in this section is that wealth isn't measured only by money. True financial success also includes freedom, peace of mind, personal responsibility, and the ability to make thoughtful choices without being controlled by constant financial stress. Money is most valuable when it supports a meaningful and balanced life rather than becoming life's only purpose. As these lessons come together, one timeless principle becomes clear. Lasting wealth is built through disciplined habits, continuous learning, patience, and wise decision-making, not through luck or shortcuts. In the next part, we'll bring together the final principles of Rich Dad, Poor Dad and explore how financial education, character, and consistent action can help create lasting financial freedom for years to come. As we approach the final lessons of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one message becomes increasingly clear. Financial freedom isn't created by luck, a high salary, or perfect timing. It's created by developing the right mindset, building valuable skills, and making wise financial decisions consistently over time. Robert Kiyosaki reminds us that one of the greatest investments you'll ever make isn't in a stock, a business, or a piece of property. It's in yourself. The more knowledge you gain, the more opportunities you begin to recognize. Financial education improves your judgment, strengthens your confidence, and helps you make better decisions throughout your life. Another important lesson is that successful people remain lifelong learners. They never assume they know everything. Instead, they continue reading, asking questions, learning new skills, and adapting to changing circumstances. The world constantly evolves, and those who continue learning are better prepared to grow with it. The book also explains that discipline is more valuable than temporary motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but disciplined habits continue producing results even on difficult days. Making thoughtful financial decisions, managing expenses wisely, continuing to improve your skills, and planning for the future may seem like small actions individually, but together they create remarkable long-term outcomes. Robert also encourages readers to think independently. Society often follows familiar financial paths simply because they've become common. However, intelligent decision-making requires asking thoughtful questions, understanding different perspectives, and making choices based on knowledge rather than pressure or popular opinion. Financial confidence grows when your decisions are guided by understanding instead of emotion. Another timeless principle is learning to focus on opportunities instead of limitations. Every generation faces economic challenges, technological changes, and uncertainty. While some people see only obstacles, others continue searching for ways to learn, improve, and create value. Your mindset often determines whether you see problems or possibilities. The book also reminds us that financial success should never come at the expense of integrity. Knowledge becomes truly valuable when it is combined with honesty, responsibility, fairness, and respect for others. Lasting success isn't measured only by how much money you accumulate, but also by the character you develop while earning it. Robert emphasizes that patience is one of the greatest financial advantages. Building a secure future rarely happens overnight. It requires years of thoughtful decisions, continuous learning, and consistent effort. Every responsible choice you make today becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. Over time, those small decisions grow into meaningful financial stability. Another valuable lesson is to regularly review your financial habits. Ask yourself whether your daily decisions are helping you move toward your long-term goals. Small improvements made consistently are often more powerful than dramatic changes made only once. Financial progress is built through regular reflection and continuous improvement. Perhaps the most encouraging message in this section is that financial freedom is a journey, not a destination. There will always be new lessons to learn, new challenges to overcome, and new opportunities to discover. The people who succeed over the long term are those who remain curious, adaptable, and committed to improving themselves year after year. As these principles come together, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Money alone cannot create financial freedom. True freedom is built through knowledge, discipline, patience, wise decision-making, and a commitment to lifelong learning. When these qualities become part of your daily life, financial success becomes a natural result rather than a distant dream. Now we've reached the final stage of this journey. In the last part, we'll bring together every major lesson from Rich Dad Poor Dad and discover why changing the way you think about money may be the first step toward changing your entire financial future. We've reached the end of our journey through Rich Dad Poor Dad, and if there's one lesson this book leaves us with, it's this: your financial future is shaped more by the way you think than by the amount of money you earn. Throughout this summary, we've discovered that many people spend their lives working hard for money without ever learning how money works. Robert Kiyosaki challenges this traditional mindset by encouraging readers to develop financial education, think independently, and make decisions that support long-term financial well-being rather than short-term satisfaction. One of the most powerful lessons from this book is the importance of understanding the difference between earning income and building lasting wealth. A high salary alone doesn't guarantee financial security. What truly matters is how wisely you manage your money, how consistently you continue learning, and how thoughtfully you prepare for the future. We've also explored the famous idea of assets and liabilities. While financial situations differ from person to person, the underlying principle remains timeless. Focus on building long-term value instead of allowing unnecessary expenses to control your future. Every thoughtful financial decision you make today has the potential to strengthen your tomorrow. Another key message is that financial education should never stop. Schools may teach many important subjects, but learning about budgeting, responsible money management, financial planning, entrepreneurship, and long-term thinking is a lifelong responsibility. The more knowledge you gain, the better equipped you become to recognize opportunities and avoid costly mistakes. The book also reminds us that fear and self-doubt often prevent people from reaching their potential. Every successful person faces uncertainty, setbacks, and moments of failure. What separates those who continue growing is their willingness to learn from experience instead of giving up when challenges appear. Mistakes become valuable only when they teach us to make wiser decisions in the future. Perhaps the most inspiring lesson is that financial freedom is built through consistent habits rather than dramatic events. Every dollar saved wisely, every new skill learned, every thoughtful decision, and every hour invested in personal growth becomes another step toward a stronger financial foundation. Success rarely arrives overnight. It is usually the result of small actions repeated with patience and discipline over many years. At the same time, this book encourages us to remember that money is a tool, not the ultimate purpose of life. True wealth isn't measured only by financial success. It also includes wisdom, integrity, meaningful relationships, good health, peace of mind, and the freedom to live according to your values. Financial success becomes truly meaningful when it supports a balanced and purposeful life. Ultimately, Rich Dad Poor Dad isn't simply about becoming rich. It's about changing the way you think, improving your financial understanding, and taking greater responsibility for your future. Whether you're just beginning your financial journey or looking to strengthen the knowledge you already have, the greatest investment will always be the investment you make in yourself. Thank you for joining me on this complete journey through Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you remember only one lesson from this book, let it be this. Earning money can improve your lifestyle, but improving your financial knowledge can change your future. Learn continuously, think wisely, act responsibly, and allow your daily decisions to build a future defined not only by financial success, but also by character, freedom, and lasting purpose.